Welcome to Nava Podcast with Leah Cardenas and Stella Pashos.
Let's explore the true essence of Nava.
Nava embodies the concept of beauty in all its forms. It represents the inner radiance that each woman possesses and the unique qualities that make her truly remarkable.
Our mission is to share the stories of inspiring women who are making their mark in the areas of fashion, health, lifestyle, and family. Our aim is to curate meaningful conversations where the journeys and experiences of our guests can inspire you in your own life.
We started this podcast to create a space where everyone can feel beautiful, inspired, and empowered.
Nava is not just a podcast, it's a celebration of the incredible women who have shaped our lives and the countless others who are yet to share their stories.
We can't wait for you to join us.
Today we discuss the world of beauty and entrepreneurship, exploring the incredible journey of Celeste in crafting not just eyebrows, but empowering transformations. From business insights that could inspire any budding entrepreneur to the latest trends in brows and beauty, Celeste spills the beans. But it's not just about business. Discover how Celeste maintains a healthy work-life balance, incorporating wellness into her busy routine. Get ready for a conversation that's not just about brows, but about confidence, self-care, and the art of embracing your natural beauty. Tune in and let's uncover the secrets to perfect brows and so much more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nava Podcast. As always, I'm with my beautiful co-host, Stella. And today we have the lovely Celeste from Senorita Brows. Get ready for this amazing conversation. How are you, Celeste?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
We're going to start off with 90 seconds with Celeste. So we'll jump straight into that. So it's just a little sneak peek or a little quirky icebreaker for our guests to get to know you a little before we begin and jump into all things about you. So Leah, have you got a countdown on there?
Yep.
Cool. How old are you?
Okay. I'm 31.
Which city do you live in?
In Melbourne.
And where did you grow up?
Southeast Melbourne.
What is your favourite beverage?
Favorite beverage? Probably tea. I'm a tea drinker.
Oh, nice. What kind of tea?
Yeah. I like chai. I like all sorts.
Chai.
Matcha tea. Anything
Yes,
tea. I love.
Matcha.
Yeah.
I know you've got a little dog running around. Do you have any other pets?
No, so I've just got Peach, little Frenchie. So yeah, she's my baby. Yeah.
Flavor of ice cream, what would you be? Leah loves this question.
If I was a flavor, I don't know, probably pistachio. I don't know why, but it's, I guess, I don't know, a little bit different.
That's a good one, Leah. I like it.
Different and sophisticated, I think. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
Share a fun childhood memory that always makes you smile.
Probably just family time in general. Just always being with family, movie nights and things like that. I used to love that as a kid. So, yeah.
What is one word to describe yourself?
Stubborn. Very, very stubborn.
What is the most adventurous thing you have ever done?
I've got two things. Skydiving is one of them. And probably Kentucky in America for about 6 weeks. So probably those two.
That's so fun. Where did you skydive?
Yeah. In St Kilda.
Oh.
So, yeah, took my brother for his 21st. That was his surprise. So we did it together and, yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's so fun. I did it in New Zealand and I just remember crying like all the way up and pretty much all the way down because the wind is so strong. But it is, it's a pretty crazy experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could never do it. All right.
Never say never.
Let's unpack the journey of Senorita Brows. When did you launch the business?
It was back in end of 2018, so around October 2018. I originally started after going on a holiday. I was actually planning to move to Canada. And it was like that turning point in my life where it was kind of like I had two pathways. It was either like I move abroad and start working and, do a working holiday and things like that, or I come back and start a business. They were my two, I guess, life plans at that age. And I actually went to Canada with the intention of wanting to move there. I even made my mum go with me to go check it out and everything. I had the visas ready. And then I went there and I liked it to travel, but not to live. So then I ended up coming home, and then within maybe about a month to 2 months, me and one of my friends, we started a business together, and then it took off from there. So
did this all come about from your Kentucky that you just mentioned earlier?
Yes. So we went on Kentucky, and then after that, that was back in April 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then went there, and then I came back probably about 5 months later. I went back to America with my mum. And then after that, I was like, I want to do this. Like, I don't want to move overseas anymore. I want to, start my own business. But I think the turning point where it really started from was on our first holiday, me and one of my girlfriends, we went to Kelly Baker Brows. So I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's like, I don't know, the queen of brows for all celebrities, and she's quite influential. So we actually went to her store and visited. And after that, it was like an amazing experience seeing her and seeing the salon. And we came back and we're like, we want to do this. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it started from there. So
are you still in partnership with your friend?
No. So after COVID, so we came back and started a business together, which was originally known as Artistry Brows Melbourne. That's how we started off.
Yep.
We were both working at Benefit as well, doing brows and, brow sculpting and all of that. I was actually her team leader at the time.
Yeah.
And we became really good friends. So we started traveling together and, ended up having a partnership in a business together. But then, COVID hit, and then she ended up moving back to New Zealand with her family. And then it was just up to me to kind of take over and rebrand everything and then go off on my own. So,
wow. Was that scary at that point? Like, I guess losing your business partner and then having to do it all on your own?
It was, but I think I was prepared because we had each other as like our safety nets as well, going through the whole start of the business. I think I was already that little bit more comfortable with like taking over. I kind of knew what to do. It was just up to me to kind of tweak everything. But I guess the fundamentals were already there, which was good. So, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I love that all the inspiration that comes from travel, and we all go away and we just never know what's going to present itself in terms of opportunity or inspiration. And that's a beautiful thing that you went into Kelly Baker Brows as your expander, someone that you looked up to in the industry. And I feel like it's one of those moments where you're like, I didn't even know this was like possible. It's one thing to see them and follow them. And then when you're there in person, you're like, wow, it just expands you beyond what you think is possible for yourself.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say, we didn't really discuss what exactly you do at Senorita Brows. I think it's a little bit implied, but I know there's so much more. So please share.
Sure. So I do brow sculpting. So anything to do with brows. I do anything from just brow waxing, tweezing, shaping, lamination. I do lash lifts as well, which are quite popular. And I've just recently started more onto the cosmetic tattooing side as well. So brow tattooing and lip tattooing as well. So I used to also do makeup. So I'm actually a professional makeup artist by trade as well. But I'm like, I can't do it all. So
no, woman of many talents.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know, can you explain the different services that you offer, and can you detail a little bit about what cosmetic tattooing is?
Yeah, so cosmetic tattooing can be pretty much tattooing anything like on the face, your hair. It can range from microblading, which is like using a manual blade to cut in little incisions into the skin to implant pigment, which creates those little hair strokes. So you can get anything from microblading, ombre brows, which creates more of like that soft powder look, lip tattooing, which can create like a nice lip blush or more of a lipstick look. You can also do anything from, at the moment, you can do tattoo over stretch marks. You could do hairlines. You can pretty much tattoo anywhere at the moment. So it's expanded quite a lot over the few years. It's not just like your brows or your lips or anything. It's pretty much anywhere where there's hair or you want to cover any pigmentation. It almost can be done. So it's come a long way.
Yeah, that's amazing because I think I'm a bit naive and I think, brow tattooing and what it might look like. But I know so many people that have it now and you can't even tell. And I think it's come a really long way in regards to the application and I guess tools that you use.
Yeah, absolutely. It used to be like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 20 years ago, you used to see like some certain people with a brow tattoo and it looked like just stamps on their head, like or grey or whatever. But now it's, most of the time, if it's done nicely or depending what the person wants, you almost couldn't tell. It can look so natural, which is, really good.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know that are a little bit out of the loop, like me with cosmetic tattooing, what tool would you use for an eyebrow tattoo? You're not using a tattoo gun, right?
Yes. So one of them says, so if you were to do like, say, an ombre brow or a combination brow, you would use like a machine, so like a tattoo machine, and you'll attach the appropriate needle to it as well, depending on what look and the person's skin and all of that. So you'll create an outline and a stencil and then start to fill it in. And it creates tiny little pixels on the skin. So once it starts to fade, all that's left is like that nice soft powder look on the skin, and then the hair kind of goes over the top. Yeah, adding a combination brow would be adding a combination of maybe 2 techniques. So some people would go in with a few hair strokes throughout the brow as well. So you can use a machine to draw the hair strokes in, or you can use like a blade, a manual blade, and that creates little hair strokes in the brow, and then you can use the machine with it as well, depending what look you want to create. So that's more a combination, which is, a few techniques in one. So,
yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were just talking about that potentially being both of our next beauty thing that we want to do.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. My partner was like, I'm pretty sure they use a tattoo gun for that. And I was like, I don't think so, but he was right.
I was just going to say, can you share a little bit about the name and the logo?
It was at the time I was watching a movie, and this is when I had to recreate the brand when my friend left. So I'm like, I needed a new name, a new logo, like a new style and all of that. And after watching the Freedom movie, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect, because it's like, I don't know, for what she stands for as well, like a lot about feminism and things like that, or, women empowering women, and just the creative and the art aspect behind it as well, and her talent. I thought it's kind of like a mix of kind of what I already do, but not quite. So, I really wanted to incorporate that into my logo. And, I guess because of my background as well, being, like a Latina background, I'm like, it's fitting, and it's not something I've really seen anyone do, well, in Australia anyway. So, I wanted to create like a piece of art as well as, like a cool logo. So
I love that. And she obviously has the famous brows.
Yes, and the famous brows, everyone looks straight at the brows as well. So I'm like,
So growing up, you said you've come from a Latina background. Yeah. What kind of influence has that had on your, upbringing and that influence into the world of beauty? Did that carve any certain path for you?
It did, actually. So my mum was a makeup artist when I was little. She used to do a lot of bridal and things like that. And then, I used to play with her makeup. I was quite creative as a kid as well. So I was always like drawing and painting and very hands-on. And then, having that creative side, and then my mum being a makeup artist when I was little, like I started playing with makeup and putting it on myself and on family members and things like that. And then, going into high school, I was that friend that got everyone ready for parties, like doing everyone's makeup for a party and all of that. So, at quite a young age, I started, experimenting with makeup and things like that. In high school as well, I also, like being hairier, I had to get my brows done at quite a young age. So I first got my brows done when I was 12.
Wow. How was that for you growing up? Because I remember when I was in primary school and I just really wanted to shave my legs, and my mum just would not let me. But it's a lot being a young person and going through all of that, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think because my brows were quite hairy, like almost Frida Kahlo, like pretty fluffy in the middle, I was going into high school, and my mum's like, I think it's time. Like she doesn't really want me getting bullied or anything. So she's like, a brow tidy up is okay. So I ended up getting them done at 12, going into high school. And from then I was like obsessed. Like I felt like so much more confident, like, because it's like, people are looking at you when your brows are so hairy or untamed or anything. They look straight at your eyes and your brows are right there. So then having those nice fresh eyebrows, it gives you so much more confidence as well.
Definitely.
So yeah, I started getting them done quite young. And then all throughout high school, like I was pretty consistent with my brow appointments, to the point where I'd skip school for it as well. Yeah, you had to miss out on like my first periods. It was always like business or something, and I'd always have my brows like booked in on that same day every like 4 weeks. And yeah, my mum used to take me, so she used to encourage it. So
but business is probably not the subject you should have been missing, because look at you now.
You had to stick to your routine.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, the conversation about teenagers or adolescents in terms of beauty and introducing it. When you were speaking about Leah, when you said about wanting to shave your legs, my mum said no, but then Celeste, you're like, oh, my mum was like fully encouraging of my eyebrows at 12. And I feel like I had to wag school in year 7 to go and get my eyebrows done. My mum was mortified, but I just feel like back then, it's a lot different now, but it's actually nice to be educated on that growing up, like how to go about these things. Don't you think?
I guess it must just depend on the family.
Yeah, and like your values and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Celeste.
Yes. So how has your business changed over time, apart from, I guess, having a business partner and then starting Senorita Brows? Tell us the journey of your business.
So pretty much at the start, I was working with my business partner, and we actually worked really well together. Like I said, we were working at Benefit together as well. And then I ended up quitting, and then it got to a point where I was like, I have to quit, because otherwise I can't work anymore in my business, because I was working like full time at Benefit and then just trying to fit in clients after work or on the weekend when I could.
That's crazy.
So it got a lot. And then all the money that I was like earning from Benefit, like a full-time wage, I was just putting straight into the business, like products, tools, registrations, like all of that. We were putting all that money back into the business. So I got to a point where I'm like, I have to quit. And it was so scary to do so, because obviously you're used to having a full-time wage coming in, and then not having that can be quite scary. So again, my mum reassured me. She's like, look, you're going to have to take a risk. It doesn't work. You find another job. Like, it's not the end of the world. Just, you're going to have to do it. So I did. And then, funny enough, I started getting more and more clients. And then my friend ended up quitting maybe about 6 months after. And then we were like full-time working in our business. After COVID, because she left, I had to move salon as well. So I had to find a new space that was extremely stressful, because I'm like, who's going to like have a room available during COVID and stuff? But luckily I ended up finding something. So I ended up moving to another place in Berwick. And then from then the owners were, I think, selling the salon not long after. So then I'm like, I'm going to have to really hustle hard and try and find my own way. And that's when I started saving to buy a house. So my plan was to buy a house where I could work from home, so I could be more stable. Because of COVID and stuff, renting a room, it wasn't that secure, because with businesses going under and stuff, there was no security in that. So I'm like, on my own, I have to kind of just find a way. And then, now that's where I'm at the moment. And I actually really do love working from home. I love that balance. As I've gotten a little bit older, I love having that, work from home, but also have my time to do my things as well. And I feel like my days are much more productive. So
it's amazing how travel time for your work can hugely impact your, I guess, personal life, because it takes up so much of your day. And then also, I guess, having, I get that flexibility, especially I think since COVID, people have really started to see what a different work life and schedule can be. It's not the traditional 9 to 5. It's really about being flexible and realizing that not everyone works best from 9 till 5. Yeah. And we're a lot more productive when we can balance our personal and professional lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Can you talk us through the process of finding a space to work through? Like what was on your criteria in terms of looking for a salon space, and what's the process like in renting somewhere?
for example, like the very first place that we hired, it was through like a friend of a friend. So I was getting my lashes done and she's like, oh, I've got a space, you can borrow a room for a little bit and just get started. So I'm like, all right, that worked out really well. And then after that space, I've actually sent you a photo. It was tiny. It was like not enough for us to work. It was just for one at a time. So we're like, all right, we'll just like make do with what we've got for now. And then we ended up finding a bigger space where we could both work. And we found that on Gumtree actually. So we're just looking anywhere and everywhere, just like Gumtree or just ads online, or sometimes salons like on Instagram and stuff post, rooms for rent and things like that. So we ended up finding that spot. And then during COVID, I remember the last salon that I was at, I actually just directly messaged the lady because I had been at that salon before, like as a client. I remember how big it was. And I just went out and messaged her. I'm like, look, I'm looking for a room. Like, if you have anything available, I'd love to hire a room here, Funnily enough, she's like, oh, if you want to come and have a look, feel free to come and have a look. So I did. And then later that day, like I was like, nah, I'll take it. So it just moved really quickly. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just kind of meant to be, I guess. A lot of the time you just have to get it. So
and I think that also speaks to the power of connections and working with your network. But I think it's really helpful for our listeners who may be looking for spaces to start up their own businesses. It doesn't necessarily have to be in beauty, but that there's those different avenues you can look towards as opposed to a traditional contact a real estate agent.
Yeah, I have never gone through a real estate agent for any of the leases. It just, like, I'll just like message or call a salon and just ask them straight out, do you have any rooms for rent? Or if they're like, no, I'm like, all right, I'll call the next place and just keep asking. Yeah. Or ask someone, do you know anyone that knows someone? Or because you never know who can recommend something. And, like if they know them, you probably have a better chance as well that it's a recommendation from someone that you know. So I think you just, it's good to take that initiative and just go out and look and ask different people because you never know what'll come up.
Yeah, what's the worst that they can say is no. So love that.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a short break. If you have been wanting to elevate your beauty and sleep routines and get the best of both worlds, Swa Silk is for you. The difference is in the quality of 100% pure mulberry silk products that are both anti-aging and hypoallergenic. They also get rid of that crazy bed hair and reduce sleep wrinkles. Allow yourself a moment to indulge in the world of Swa Silk. Swa Silk have extended Nava listeners a special 30% off with code NAVA30 to indulge yourself in a better night's sleep. That's NAVA30. Now let's get back to the conversation. So a lot of the things we see on Instagram and just day to day when we catch up with people, we see a lot of the highlight reels of people's lives, and not many people are open to sharing a lot of the challenges or struggles that they've faced to get to where they are. What were some of the challenges that you encountered? You've spoken about a few so far, but which ones really stood out to you and how did you overcome them?
There's been so many, like I guess I can't really blame COVID too much, but it did play a huge role in how businesses run now as well. A lot of challenges could be even just like not having the same amount of clientele as you did pre-COVID or before, like inflation and all of that as well. That's a huge challenge at the moment that I'm still like dealing with day to day. And it's like, it's realistic, but I feel like a lot of people don't really speak about that too much. But that's probably a big challenge at the moment. I think all you can really do is just keep being persistent and keep posting, keep, engaging with your clients as well, doing some offers and just still providing that top quality service. Although it can be really hard, but there's not really much more you can do apart from using the resources that you have and continuing to, do the same things. Or find different avenues. Like now, like sometimes I'll make TikToks and things like that, just trying different things if I've got more time, or putting more ads out, or, doing little promotions just to get that engagement up. Because it can be really hard when, like pre-COVID or during COVID, like you'd be booked out 4 or 5 weeks in advance and now it's only like a week, or trying to have to fill
Wow.
that week sometimes. That can be really
Yeah.
tricky. And I think being a business owner, I don't think some people realize how valuable that time is. And then, if they're not coming or they're not booking in, it's like the business like misses out. Or if they're cancelling too late as well, or just not showing up at all, it really does affect the business.
Yeah, of course, because that appointment could have gone to someone else, and that's money that's in the business, and yeah,
absolutely. But it's not just like my time, not for me, but it's like you still have the overheads. Your bills just come in, just everyone else's. You've got mortgages and repayments and insurances, and like bills don't stop and things like that don't stop. But that's probably one of the biggest challenges at the moment is just that consistency and just trying to remain persistent and get through it, I guess.
So how do you overcome that client cancellation?
So like, for example, most businesses, including mine, will have a cancellation policy. So a pretty standard one, like the one that I use is, so you've got 48 hours to cancel. Anything within that 48 hours charges you a 50% fee, 50% of your service. Because now it's like trying to have to find someone last minute to fill that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, although 50% is still going to get paid, if you don't fill the rest of that appointment, you still miss out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just fill what it had to. Or say if they don't show up, then you're able to charge them 100% of their service as well, because it's your time that was wasted also. But
it's so hard.
It's really, it is really hard, and I hate having to do that. I never used to. There was a time where I was a bit more chilled about it, but then I think once you have all these overheads and things like that come with the business and taxes and buses and all of that, you can't really miss out. Otherwise, you completely fall behind.
Yeah.
And that's to take a huge effect on your business and how you run your business too. And it also affects how motivated you are to keep going. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah. What are some practical tips that you would suggest to someone wanting to start a beauty business or business in the beauty industry?
From personal experience, I would say find a really good accountant from the start.
Yeah, we've heard that before, haven't we?
Yes, I learned that the very hard way, and only now I'm just starting to kind of find my way. But it's been a few years, and I've struggled pretty much probably the first 3 years of it with accounting and things like that. For starters, I'm terrible at bookkeeping, and it's just not my thing. I'm not that good at that stuff. But I think finding a really good accountant or a bookkeeper or someone to keep you on track as well is going to save you a lot of headaches, and it's really going to help you plan your business and for the future. So that would be my tip.
Yeah, and then you can spend more time on your business doing the things that you're good at, as opposed to wasting lots of time trying to figure out things that, aren't your favorite.
Yeah. And I think another one would be just to do your research as well. Because the thing is, for example, when we first started our business, we were renting this little room and everything was great. But then I didn't know about registering with the council. No one told us, because we thought the lady that had the salon, she was registered with the council and they did the checks and everything was safe and blah, blah, blah. But then because we were renting that room, we didn't know we needed our own council check for our business. And then we learned that the hard way. They came to us almost wanting to fine us. And I had to honestly be I didn't know. I had no idea. No one told us.
Wow.
So I think, no one told us. So I told her, I'll write up the plan. I'll pay it. I don't care how much it is, but please don't fine us. We didn't know. So
is that just for being in the beauty industry, or does that cover a range of fields? Tell us a bit about that.
I'm not 100% sure about other fields. I'm assuming most do have to have council checks just for health and safety. Yeah. But for me, they come every year. So every Feb or March or whatsoever, they'll come and do a council check for me, make sure I'm compliant with everything's safe. A lot of businesses don't do it though, including including the beauty business. I'm not really sure why, but I don't know. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather know that I'm compliant with everything. If I get a council check, they've all my records. They can check whatever they want. Everything's, is safe to work in. So I would recommend if someone's starting out, especially in the beauty business or beauty industry, I reckon just if you can get your council checks, because once that's done, then at least that's one less thing to worry about as well. You're compliant with everything.
Yeah, and then that's ticked off and you can start and not have that on over your shoulders. Yeah. But I think it would be really challenging doing anything new for the first time. You're like, I don't know what I don't know. And if someone doesn't tell you or there aren't clear resources on where you can access this information, it can be very challenging. And then you're like, I thought I had done everything to avoid things like this. But you can obviously never be too prepared, obviously, from your experience.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us? Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was going to say, I think the thing is you're not going to cover everything. Even me, sometimes I'm still learning new things as well. But I think it's all part of the experience. Like you'll find your way and then, not to make that mistake again.
It's probably the only way, I think. And I remember when I was in my second sales job, one of my colleagues would always just say, just make as many mistakes as you can because that's the quickest way that you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Obviously do it in a way that's not going to get you in trouble legally, but in this case. But I think, that's the best way. Just mistakes. Leah would agree too.
Oh, yeah.
From your teaching.
Oh, my goodness. So many bad lessons. Anyway. So talk to us about what a typical day for you looks like, especially after we've been talking about the joys of a flexible work-life balance.
So a typical day, do you want a chill day or a busy day?
Give us the busy day.
A busy day? So busy day, say like maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday, they're probably my back-to-back days, the midweek ones. So a typical day would be like I'd wake up about 6:30, go to the gym, come home, have a shower, get ready, make brekkie. Then I would usually just check all my inboxes, my messages and all of that as well for the day. I'll go down and turn the pots on maybe about an hour before, just so it has enough time to heat up properly. Then I'll vacuum, mop, just get everything nice and clean and ready for the first client. Make sure everything's stocked. Then I'll just keep getting ready for work. Then I usually start about 10 and I'll work through to about 3, depending on my day and how busy it is. Then I'll usually have an hour break for lunch, and then I'll work again from about 4 till 8. So that's pretty much my it's a really long day, but
I thought you were going to say you do 10 to 3 every day, and I was like, wow, that sounds amazing.
No, 10 to 8.
Is that every 7 days?
That's the Wednesday, Thursdays.
Wednesday, Thursdays, yeah.
Yeah. And Tuesday, Fridays and Saturdays, I usually start at 10 and I'll finish by 2 or 3. So they're my more balanced days. So I'll still go to the gym in the morning, do what I have to do. Usually if I want appointments or to go get my own beauty stuff done or hair, whatever, I've got time on a Tuesday or a Friday to do it, or a Saturday. And Saturdays I don't usually work past 2. So I can have time for family or go out or catch up with the girls or just do whatever. So I like to have that balance as well. Then I've got the rest of Saturday off, Sunday off, Monday off, and then back on Tuesday. So
that's good. Yeah, it sounds like a really good work-life balance because you talked about the importance of having to invest in the business, obviously, because you have overheads and things like that. But you've incorporated a real good amount of balance that you're still doing things for yourself and your family and your health. And I think that's what we all want to achieve. Yeah,
absolutely. And usually Mondays I'll run errands and just get everything ready for the week. And then I can do a little bit of bookkeeping or a bit of admin on a Monday. When I'm just more relaxed at home, I can just chill for a bit and do that. So, and then I'm ready for another busy week. So, I like the schedule that I've got at the moment. It works really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's obviously a lot of trial and error over the years, I'm sure, to perfect it to this. But it sounds like you've definitely kind of designed or created a lifestyle for yourself that works really well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
As one of your clients and followers on social media, How has social media impacted your brand, or how important is it to your business?
Um, I'm a little bit in two minds about the social media side of it because I think it is a really great tool. Like I think social media and like Instagram and things like that, it's showing all of your work. It's kind of
Yeah.
like your portfolio on display. So I think in that sense, it's amazing and all of that because you can really show what you do and who you are as a brand and all of that. I love that side of it. But there also is a side where it's sometimes unrealistic as well. Like people obviously only show the good things, or people may only go by, look, I'm only going to go to this place because they've got 20,000 followers, as opposed to someone smaller and they've got 5,000 followers. So that's the side I'm a little bit funny about because I know, like, you know, a lot of businesses, they don't have as many clients, but they're back to back every day. Like they're always booked, they do amazing work, but they don't have 20, 50,000 followers like some other people. So I really, you know, that's why I'm a little bit in two minds. Like I do love it to an extent, but it's not like my everything. I'd rather have that. Like even if I have a smaller following, it doesn't bother me too much, but I'd rather have those loyal clients. I feel like that's more than the numbers, to be honest. So yeah.
And would you say most of your clients come from referrals, or where do you feel like they've come from?
Yeah, most of them are word of mouth. So like the old school people, it's like a friend of a friend or family, or which is really nice. And then every now and then I might do an ad just to like boost it a little bit, like a couple times a year maybe. Just put some Instagram, and that can sometimes just get some new people in the area that maybe didn't know I was here. But most of the time I'd say probably about a good 70-80% is word of mouth for me, which is really nice. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's nice to see. And I think as much as we progress with social media and online presence and marketing strategies, it's really nice to see that word of mouth and referrals are still such a organic way for businesses to grow.
Yeah, I agree.
So we've talked a little bit about some cosmetic tattooing and brows, and I guess that's probably one of the big changes in the brow industry. But how do you feel like the brow trends have changed? What should we be doing?
I feel like there's so many trends, like, and it's constantly changing, but I still feel like I think every brow has to be customized to you, to that person. Because I'm like, you could go through any trend, but not every trend is going to suit everyone, to be completely honest. So I feel like working with the brow that the person has to, you know, to work with their own features and their face structure and, you know, their style. I think that's the most important trend, is what the person is comfortable with as well. So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm very big on that. I feel like I've even had some clients who are like, look, I really don't like my tails, like, but I went somewhere else and they weren't shorten them. I'm like, well, let's shorten them. And I'm like, because it suits you and it works with your face structure, and they end up loving it. And yeah, now they haven't gone back. So I guess it depends on the person and what they like. And I feel like as a professional, you can guide them and give them, you know, your own kind of 2 cents, but it's still their brows and they're going to be wearing them too.
Yeah.
So they be comfortable with it as well.
And is there a like special golden ratio when it comes to your brows? We were watching one of your reels where you had the special string that was like measuring and aligning and all that. I'm like, oh, it feels like it's like, is it Da Vinci's like golden ratio or whatever?
Yeah, so there is a thing called like the golden ratio, where it's usually where your brow should start, where your art should be, and where they should end. So pretty much they say like your brow should start at the dimple of your nose, so about here, moving up on both sides. That's where they should start. The art should be like directly through the pupils, so about like there, and they should finish like on the corner of your eye. So that's usually the golden rule for everyone's face shape, like I guess according to them.
I was just going to say, if there's a golden ratio, and I 100% agree with it, why do they have to grow where they shouldn't grow? Like,
stick to the mold.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thing I can't answer. I'm not sure. They just have minds of their own.
They do.
Outside of brows, obviously, that's a really big part of your life. What are some other hobbies and interests that you have?
probably going to the gym. I feel like that's my 1 hour of the day. That's just like quiet time just for me. So I really enjoy that time just to like put my headphones on, listen to music and just be in my own little world for a little bit. I like going to the beach more in summer. I've been going quite a bit now that I've been off work. So I usually take my dog to like dog beaches and stuff, and yeah, we just go for walks and go get lunch. Just, I don't know, I'm very chilled now. So I like to do more low-key things or just hang out with the girls and just more things that are quality time, I think. Yeah, my go-tos.
I love it. I have the same ones.
Yeah.
So not the beach because I hate getting sand everywhere. But yeah, I think exercise and gym and also getting outdoors is something renewing in that, sure.
I agree.
I wanted to ask your thoughts on beauty and confidence. I feel like girls are younger and younger when they start using cosmetics and taking the path of surgery. Did you want to share a little bit about your own journey? I know you spoke about earlier, starting to wax or do you get your eyebrows done at 12? What's been your journey being in the beauty industry and I guess forming your own ideals of beauty?
I do agree that girls are going younger and younger with procedures and things like this. I think when I was growing up, it wasn't really a big thing. It was more just like using makeup or like waxing or getting your hair done, whatever, but not so much the injectables and all of that or cosmetic procedures. So yeah, just most recently I had probably my first cosmetic procedure last year.
Yep.
And I think, which was liposuction and like a fat transfer, not a BBL, by the way. Yep. But I think going through that experience, I honestly do regret it. And now that I look back at photos, thinking like what I looked like then, wanting to fix that, and now I look back at it, I'm like, I wish I just stayed how I was, to be honest. Because I'm like, I feel like no, like, I don't know, to an extent, I feel if it's really going to make you more confident and things like that, like I'm all for it, go for it. But I think from experience, I reckon to do your research and just wait a little bit first because you may change your mind, whereas I was kind of I just rushed into it. So although I did my research and things like that, but then it was like I was so firm on the idea that I wanted this change, not realizing like I looked fine before. Do you know what I mean? Now it's too late. So
did you have any like specific influences that really pushed you at that time to look down this avenue?
Not so much. I think it was my own insecurity, to be honest, more than it is. Because I'm always like, yeah, if someone were to do any cosmetic thing, I'm all for it, go for it, whatever makes you happy. But I think it was my own insecurity. Because I was like training a lot and like I got down to quite a low weight as well. There were certain areas where I'm like, I miss like, having boobs and stuff like that. So I wanted that fixed. That's what I had. So now like trying to fix that, it's like created another problem now. Whereas I could have just been natural and just stayed like that and been happy the way I was. But I feel like you're always like your own critique and you're always wanting to change something about yourself because you're looking at yourself every day. So probably one of my biggest learning experiences, to be honest, and probably one of the things I regret the most now. And I think I probably, if I could, I would have waited that little bit more, that little bit longer. So
I feel like a lot of people that go down cosmetic procedures like that, like I've had a rhinoplasty, and I remember when I was like 15, when I was like, I knew I was bullied at school and I was like, I want to get this done. But I really waited until I was like 28 and I was really sure. Like I did my research. I spoke to so many surgeons. Even when I met the surgeon that I wanted, I was like waited 2 or 3 years before, the surgery went ahead. And the really good thing that they did was provide a psychologist for me to speak to and what I learned from that experience was that I wasn't relying on the surgery for my happiness or to fix. I think a lot of the times you can do a procedure thinking that it's going to fix your insecurity, not realizing that you've actually got many other insecurities or confidence issues. And that probably comes up for a lot of people after they've had their procedure and they don't feel happier from it because it solved one thing but created another issue. But yeah, that was my experience. But I was really, really glad that I waited. But I would recommend as well just taking time for people to make sure that this is what they want to do, because it's not something that you should rush into by any means. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your honest opinion on it, because it's really hard to acknowledge that. If you do look back and think, why did I need to do that? Like I was, beautiful as I was then, and I am beautiful now. But it's a big thing for you to acknowledge that if you did want to just if you could go back to not have proceeded, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think being like a younger girl as well, what I did realize is that like throughout your 20s and then going into your 30s, your body changes so much. So something that, you might think you want at like an early 20 or 21 years old, it might not be what you want later in your 30s once you're fully developed. Do you know what I mean? So, like I did wait till I was that little bit older, but at the same time, I wish I still waited that little bit more until I was 100% sure that this is actually what I wanted. Unless it's like, for medical or it's something that you've been going through as like a teen, I'm all for it.
I feel like with every procedure, even just injectables or any kind of anything beauty related, because it's so accessible to us now on TikTok and Instagram, the influence is real. And I think a lot of medical practitioners are being pressured to change the way that they advertise their procedures, because it shouldn't be something that someone sees and they're like, oh, I want that. I think that's our generation, is that we want something and we want it now. Like growing up, I remember I'm like, if I thought that I needed a haircut, like that day, I needed to find any way possible for me to get that haircut, like then and there. Yeah. And so I feel like now that what that's turned into is like, people seeing like something on TikTok might be an injectable procedure and they're like, oh, I've seen that, now I need that right now. And I'm going to go and rush into it and get it, because that's going to, instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
But we should just take a moment and educate ourselves, listen to other people's stories, and try other avenues to make us happy before exploring things like that. Because,
Yeah. And I like what you were saying about, Stella, going to the root of why it is you want to go down that path, and just checking, your mental health and, if you've had past trauma or anything like that, because it might not necessarily fix the issue.
Yeah, for sure.
On a lighter note, can you please share some common mistakes that people make with their brows?
Over tweezing. That's probably the number one, is getting tweezer happy and you don't know when to stop. And then having to even them out when you've gone too far on one side. Probably over tweezing. What else? That's probably, or even like not being consistent as well. Because I feel like people that kind of consistently come, their brows just always look great. Even when they grow out, if you've still got that shape, they're maintained. It's just cleaning them up. So I feel like that can really definitely help with like the brow care as well. And I think getting the right treatment for you, like speaking to your therapist as well and asking what's the right treatment for yourself, instead of like, again, going on like TikTok or whatever and saying, like that girl's got lamination, I need that. Because sometimes it may not suit your brows or it may not work very well with your brow hair. So I think having that open conversation as well to see what would be beneficial for you. I think that's important too.
So our last segment is Nava, which represents the core values we explore in our podcast. Each letter of Nava stands for an essential aspect of personal and professional growth. And we're hoping that through inspiring stories and practical insights, we can empower our listeners to navigate their journey and aspire to greatness, to value themselves and achieve their goals. So N starts for navigate. Celeste, how do you set clear goals?
I feel like by being super organized. So I like to write down all my goals as well. Like I'm more of a visual person. So I don't know if you know, but I've got like my whiteboard like next to my kitchen, and I write my to-do list every night for the next day. So I like to stay extremely organized. I feel like that helps me navigate and set clear goals as well. It helps me set small goals and also larger goals is by being organized. So and having the resources to do.
Yeah. And I feel like having that visual reminder, or even just that action of writing down, it's almost like you've released it from your mind and then now you can focus on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, sometimes I release it from my mind and then leave it on the list. And then it's like, oh, I feel so much better that I've written down what I need to do and I don't need to look at that anymore. But I'm on the organizational journey. So I've just done my whole house, but I bought one. I got sucked into that TikTok trend of, those acrylic fridge magnets.
Oh, they're so cute.
It's like a fridge whiteboard. It's acrylic, it's clear, it's cute. And I'm going to go home tonight and write my to-do list on it. So thank you, Celeste.
You're welcome.
So the next one, so we've spoken about navigating and setting clear goals. The next one is aspire, A for aspire. So what advice do you have for individuals who are looking to dream big and set ambitious goals for themselves?
I would say take the risk, because if you don't take the risk, you're just never going to know. Whether you fail or not, you'll never know. So I feel like that's one thing that I learned as well. It's like, if you really want that, you're just going to find a way to do it. Whether you lose, you'll learn from it. It'll be a learning experience, but I feel like definitely taking that risk is what's going to help you get there.
V is for value, and you've already spoken about how you prioritize self-care in terms of, you make sure you go to the gym. That's just part of your routine, and that helps you maintain a healthy work-life balance. But what's one of your maybe beauty self-care things that you love to do?
Definitely my massages. So I like to get a massage, if not weekly, every fortnight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just one of these things that like I said, I'm like, I don't go out too much or any of that. So I'm like, that's my time for me. Like, and because of my work as well, like my posture and stuff, my back's always hurting.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of little treat at the end of the week, just to kind of relax and unwind. And my massages and my facials, they're my top two. Just nice skin and a relaxed body.
Love it.
Yeah.
I definitely am thinking of booking a massage.
Yeah, me too.
That's awesome. So the last is A for achieve. And so based on your own experience, we'd love to know what practical steps, you mentioned a few earlier, but a few practical steps or key strategies you would suggest for our audience. And it might not have to be with business in specifically, but just in general.
Okay, So I'd definitely say, being organized is probably one of them, because that can help set, the mood and everything like that as well, and set your goals.
And I think you kind of already mentioned getting an accountant, getting the right people in place, and you spoke to people and you sort out, I guess, what's it called? Your network.
Yeah, I think that's important. Just networking, like speaking to people, asking, even like with my clients, like I'll always ask, like, what do you do for work, or things like that, and building that network, because you never know when they can help you and vice versa.
I know, you might end up on a podcast.
Exactly. So I think that's really important too, networking and having the right resources. And just communicating with people, because sometimes like what you think might be the right way, it might not work out, but always having that backup plan as well. Because personally for me, there's been things that just have completely gone the opposite way I thought, but having that backup plan and things like that can really help you move forward when there's a setback as well.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's going to happen. Yeah, you will get setbacks, you will fail, you will have obstacles. It's all part of the experience, but I think sometimes I see it as, all right, it's more of a lesson. Like, how can I do it this time? I'll find another way, and then I know that not to do that same mistake for the next time.
Do you think that's a backup plan though, or do you think it's the determination to achieve that initial goal that you made that keeps you going forward?
Probably both. Definitely determination as well, because I feel it's either you sink or you swim. You have to find a way, or otherwise it'll consume you. So I think it's that determination as well of wanting to succeed also.
Yeah, that's really good. I think we always dream big and start moving towards, but often when bumps come in the road, it's that level of grit, whether or not you have it to continue going. And as you said, reframe, figure out your backup plan, but maybe even before the hurdle comes, what are some worst case scenario things you can have in place just in case? Yeah.
I think the one thing for me, like when I do get a setback or anything, there's been times where I've been like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like it's just too much. Like the setbacks can be so big where it's like you lose all keep going forward. But I think the one thing that I always go back to that grounds me is why did I start this in the first place? And I think that once I kind of get back into that mindset, it's because I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
And you're always going to find a way. So you just have to keep going. If it's really what you want, like you'll find a way and you'll overcome it. It's just, they're all learning experiences.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Celeste, for being on the podcast and being so raw and honest and sharing about your journey. I've loved being one of your clients and seeing how your business has grown from the different locations and all the different things you've started to provide to your clients. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Celeste.
See ya.
Bye. That's a wrap for this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
And remember, you can always find more episodes and updates on our website and social media page. You can find us on Instagram at nava.podcast. Until next time,
keep chasing your dreams and making your mark on the world.